Welcome to K2's Personally Speaking podcast, a series that shines a light inside a highly successful global mobility organization with human centricity at the heart of everything. Each episode takes a look inside K2 and toward the people behind the business, the brand, and the success of the Because It's Personal ethos. Global Marketing Director James Marshall is joined on each episode by colleagues from around the globe to discuss their role, their background, special projects, and to find out what they bring to deliver a truly unique service to clients, relocating families, and business service partners.
So welcome to this Personally Speaking podcast in Brazil. We are in a very impressive looking studio, and I'm here with Ana and Patricia. And as Patricia just told me before the camera started rolling, she loves speaking. So
does she?
Hopefully, yeah, apparently so. Hopefully we will keep this to a short podcast. But thank you guys for setting this up. It's impressive. How are you?
We're fine, thank you. I always, like I did say, I do like talking and speaking. So,
well, we're going to talk about something hopefully that, well, I know is very close to both of you and a number of people at K2 and beyond and outside of K2, which is our school that we've been building. And I want to take, we've done a load of stuff online. We've talked about it a lot, but I just wanted, for the purpose of this podcast, to take people on a little bit of a journey to understand your experience through it, and really get a sort of a viewpoint from what it means to you guys, what it means to the local community in the school, and of course what it means to the kids in the school as well, right? So I do want to caveat this podcast. I haven't been to see the school yet since I looked at it two and a half years ago.
2.5 years ago, yeah.
Which was what, spoiler alert, that was the old school.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about the new school. Tell me, let's go way back to the beginning. Before we'll talk about K2 Foundation, how it got involved, and that visit that we had with Nick and Phil and the three of us. But before that, what was your involvement with the school? Anna, I know that there were some friends of yours that were involved in it. Yeah. They were really helping out, but you knew that they just needed some extra help. What was both of your involvement with the school?
Patricia and I, we start looking for social projects in August, July of 2022. And then she told me we need to find someone that is looking for help, really looking for help, because we have many companies here in Brazil that support big or huge companies' social projects, actually. But we need that local one that really needs support. And then I post on my Instagram that, hey, we're looking for social projects that we need to help.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And one of my friends, he said, stop it, delete this post right now, because we already know where you can find one.
Did he say stop it because he knew you were going to get an influx
exactly.
of, right, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've got an idea.
He told me, like, stop, delete it. We know a place that you're going to love it. And he take us there.
And how long ago was that? Can you remember?
It was
a little bit before
2022.
you guys came. So you guys came in September.
Exactly.
So we started looking probably June, July, when Nick raised to us about the K2 Foundation, that we needed to do something in Brazil. And one thing that I think is important that Anna mentioned is you have to trust the association that you're going to be helping.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
of course.
Because you see sometimes she would get an influx of information on Instagram, but who do we know, right?
Yeah.
We would have to be there, go there
is
and understand.
Is the time investment, the financial investment going
to an honest place?
Exactly.
So being somebody that she knew was easier for us to trust the school.
Yeah. And this was, from memory, this was two friends of yours.
Yes.
One was a doctor. Did I remember that right?
Yeah. It was Guilherme and Leticia. They were my friends. And they... sorry.
Guilherme studied with Ana in the state where they lived, in Minas Gerais, which is the state next to São Paulo.
I knew them about 13, 14 years right now.
Okay,
yeah.
So they were involved, but you'd known them. So again, all adds to that legitimacy.
But their involvement is very punctual. So for example, Christmas, let's get together Christmas presents for the children. Easter, let's get chocolate for the children.
And I used to help, even that I did not know that it was for Tia Monica. I used to help them, like, hey, you need some donation for food, for presents, for something to the kids. Yeah. They used to help them, but I did not know by the time that it was for Tia Monica's project.
So you mentioned Tia Monica, so we should introduce her into the story, right?
Yes, exactly.
So let's fast forward to your involvement with the school, and obviously Tia Monica is the sort of the driving force behind the school, as is
Tia Monica
today.
and her sister.
Right?
Selma.
So I recollect the building that they were in was her father's building, and that it sort of they'd kind of grown out of it, right?
Yeah,
we went and visited it in that September, and I know the idea at the time was like, how can we help? How can we offer some improvements? They had some challenges with regard to the safety for the children. Some of the facilities were sort of needing some modernization, and so on and so forth. What was your expectation when we went on that visit back in September? I know I came away thinking that's not what I expected was going to be the outcome of this visit, and I can speak from my point of view. Actually, I really struggled visiting the school. Like personally, I've got 3 sons, school age, and I really struggled to see that that environment that where kids really should be able to feel safe and just get all of that positivity out of that school environment. And actually, the bit I struggled with, I could see that they were getting all of that in really in some examples, quite poor conditions, right? Yeah. So what was your thoughts when we were going to that school in September? We all piled onto that minibus and we drove out there. What were you expecting out of K2 Foundation's involvement in the school?
The initial plan with Nick was to reconstruct that school, right? Do what we could do. So remember that day we had a girl with special needs.
Yep.
That she didn't have a wheelchair. She had to be carried upstairs because there were no conditions or anything. So the initial idea was to reconstruct that school, do everything we could to adapt that building.
In that spot.
In that spot.
Yeah.
The problem is that where we are in Parelheiros, where they are, right? The constructions are all very poor. So when we started thinking of around the walls, you couldn't do much because if you knock down a wall, for example, it might impact the neighbor's house.
Because they're all connected.
Because they're all connected. Yeah, One wall is the wall of the neighbor house, right? Or the back wall is the back of the black neighbor. If we do, we will have a great impact on the 3 neighbors. So we decided to find a piece of land and try to construct. But
that was the crazy bit, right?
Yeah. We went through tons of pieces of land. And then when they started the tests to see if something couldn't be built, it couldn't be built there because it was too much water in the land. Because Anna and I became specialists in engineering.
Construction engineering.
Soil test.
This soil doesn't look right to me.
So it was a little bit crazy. And we did go through 2 or 3 pieces of land that we thought that were okay. And then at the end, they weren't. So all of that delayed until we found the specific piece where we are today.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you told, so we were going to try and modernize, reconstruct on the existing in the existing school. When you told the guys at the school what the plan was to actually rebuild, like start again, what was the reaction?
They couldn't believe us.
Yeah. There's actually a step back that I think we need to take, if you allow me.
Go for it.
So we were talking about the stakeholders of the project, right? Tia Monica and Tia Selma. Tia Selma is her sister, and she had a son that had a very, I don't remember the name of the disease that he had, but it was something that was very strong. He couldn't go to school. Schools in the neighborhood didn't accept him. So they didn't know what to do with him. And that's why the process all started. The project all started. So Tia Monica went to university to learn how to deal with that so that she could take care of her nephew, right? Things came along. He unfortunately passed away at 12 or 10? 10, I think,
10,
right?
I think.
At 10, yeah. And the day we called them to tell that the project had been approved within K2 and K2 Foundation, they wouldn't answer the phone. And we were like, what's happening? Why are they not answering us?
That's true.
They were at the cemetery.
At the funeral.
At the funeral with Jonathan. His name was Jonathan. So when we called them the next day that they did answer us, they couldn't believe it. Yeah. It's like, I don't know who cried more, if we did or if they did. When we learned, because we learned what had happened the day before.
Yeah.
So the big strength of the school, the big energy of the school is Jonathan there.
Yeah. And actually, you going back that step, one thing that I feel again is really, really important to mention is that, you know, a lot of our audience, schools are, as you say, like where our kids go to be educated, so on and so forth, right? But actually, the school in the area where it is now is kind of a bit of a lifeblood for those kids, and really to sort of keep them safe beyond just within that school environment.
Yeah, and even the impact that the building did in the whole region. So,
Yeah.
for example,
in the local community.
Yeah. Where we are today, when we actually started the construction, it was one of the only buildings. The rest were just
That's
houses.
true.
Yeah.
You know, one floor houses and everything. Now, when you go, when we'll be there this week, you'll see it's a 3-floor building, right? And you'll see that there are millions of 3 buildings there, building 3 floors now, or 2 floors. And the houses have gotten a little bit better. They've got pavement on the streets, which they didn't have before.
So there's a lot of
Have
infrastructure
So the
improvement.
infrastructure that came along with the building of the school impacted the whole community.
That's insane.
Not only the children, but the whole community also.
And I should add, actually, and I'll say this again at the end of this podcast, in case anyone fast forwards to the end, right? We are producing a film about the school, right? So whilst this is a podcast, visually, I think that impact we'll capture in a film. We're going to produce a wonderful film that sort of takes in all of those experiences, and we can see the kids and really what it means to them.
Well. Yeah,
absolutely.
And they started the first time this week at the school.
I know, how
so
crazy is that?
They're all excited
Very
about
excited,
it.
Yeah. So we talked about obviously the reaction of this is the project that's coming down the line. What does that, you know, for you guys here in Brazil, what does it mean to you to know that K2 Foundation, that's a global initiative, that there's a global initiative, by the way, that supports a lot of other charities as well, but this absolutely would be considered to be the sort of flagship. It's not normal to sort of go around building schools. How does it feel to you guys to feel that you've got that global audience backing and sort of willing you on and supporting this local initiative?
We are very proud, actually, to be the first project in the K2 Foundation. And it's insane sometimes to see the reaction of everybody and to see, of course, to see the face of the kids, what we are building, what they are expecting. They were so anxious about the school. And right now that everything is becoming reality, it's making everything, the dream coming true. Exactly.
True, yeah. I mean, that reality it's here. You know,
Yeah,
it started out
we are doing
school.
Even the
everything for them.
painting, for example, they had an activity in the old school of what they expected of the school and what they thought the school was going to be like. So they had rainbows painted. They had children playing soccer because Brazil, right? So you had children playing soccer. They had, everything was very colorful in their pictures, the way they said it, the way they pictured it. So we took pictures of those and then we translated that into the outside painting of the school. So when we get there, and you're going to see that it's a big green wall with a school bus coming in with Chamonica at the door, rainbows, balloons, children playing soccer.
It's
so
amazing.
It translates what they expected of the school, what they thought the school was going to look like.
And so when you go inside that school now, what are the facilities that the kids are getting, and the support staff? You know, that this school, again, it's not just about going to lessons. It's so much more from a support with regard to providing meals and safety, security, all of that sort of stuff. What are the big ticket items, the big differences that we'll see? And bear in mind, short podcast highlights.
Okay, so they have classrooms to help with homework and to help teach, because unfortunately public schools in that region are not really that good. So they have classrooms for that, which was the original idea, right? To help them out. But then they also have upstairs an open area, which we're going to have planters where they can plant what they're going to eat, like
so they couldn't do that before?
No, not at all.
Have a space.
There's a little small, very, very small, but a small area where they're going to be able to play ball.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so they can do that. Inside, you have an open area where they're going to be able to have capoeira classes, which is a Brazilian martial art.
The dance?
Yeah, the dance,
okay.
exactly.
Right,
That's why I was like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a little bit more animated than that.
Yeah, definitely. But I can't do much here, right? So they have the capoeira classes. We have them separated per age. So you have the very small babies are in one nursery. Then you have another place for the bigger babies. They have the classrooms separated per age also, where today they're all together.
What age ranges are we talking from lowest to oldest?
Babies,
From
3 months.
3 months to 14 years.
Basically that.
Wow.
So, and then we have the support from Sabesp, which is the São Paulo company for water, which they put together a computer science room. So they have computers. They're probably going to have a volunteer that goes to help give them classes on how to work with the computers and everything. So they used one of the classrooms for that, which we thought was great. And it's also another partnership for them.
Right? They're going to even provide the internet connection for them.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that they can have the classes. So,
and I know, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lift in the new school as well.
There's a lift in the new school for the children. Yes, exactly. Which also is something interesting because they are the only school there in the sub town hall, right, of the area there, that has the support for children with special needs, which gives them also support from the city hall, a financial support from the city hall because of that.
Yeah, and I imagine without that, it's quite limited for those kids, right?
Totally.
To get access to anything with regard to education and support,
So with this financial support that will be coming in from the city hall, hopefully, they will be able, for example, to hire teachers, because today everybody that's there is a volunteer.
Yeah.
Everybody from the kitchen to the classrooms to help with Jamonica, everybody is. And one thing that they have also is the infirmary. So if they're not feeling well, then they will have a place to go.
They didn't have someone before?
No,
what would
not
happen
at all.
before? They just sort of...
you're not feeling well, I'm so sorry.
Maybe don't come.
Or don't come, or just stay here in the corner. We'll try to treat you. Yeah. Now we have a cupboard with keys so that if they need to put medication in there, everything is there.
I'm excited to go and see the school.
You're going to love it. It's
really looking nice. Your reaction, actually.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. And talking of reactions, so parents as well, what's been their reaction to it? Has there been an element, have they been excited by it? Have they been a bit nervous around it? Is a lot of change happening? What is there a geographical distance from the old school to the new school, or is it fairly close?
3 blocks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so super
3
close.
blocks,
so it's the same community.
The distance is the same community. Yes, the parents are very excited.
Yeah, I bet, because
they're seeing the difference, right? And our idea also on this 3rd floor is to try to bring the parents in, so that they participate more in their children's life. Right. So if we're talking about the planters, if there is a mother or a father that really knows about planting the seasoning things, maybe they can help.
Yeah. So that connectivity, I mean, you talked about seeing the infrastructure changes as a result of the school being there, and you talked about the water company and so on and so forth, but that impact on the community, again, by investing more time, feeling like you can be part of something again as well.
And then Leticia, which is Anna's friend, she's a model and an artist, actress. Yeah. She said that she's going to use the room upstairs to give them maybe acting classes, or bring people over that can show them a sketch or something like that.
So your friends are still involved?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They
the same
have
way with punctual events.
With punctual events.
Sure. Yeah, fantastic.
But Patricia and I are the ones that are always there to support, to organize, to even control everything that they need to support them.
Yeah, we're helping even with how she's going to now admin a building as big as this. Right?
Exactly.
Because she was in a very small place where she did what she wanted to do at the time she wanted to do. And then when she needed money, she would call one person, call somebody else and get it done.
Even with the
Now it's different. Now she's going to have to be responsible for a 3-floor building. So who's going to clean? How are you going to clean it? What are the expenses here? We still need to capture
how she can involve the community with everything.
There's a lot of things to consider.
What kind of help she's going to get from the city hall? What is she going to have to do on her own? So here we are helping them even with spreadsheets, for example, right? Yeah. How much are your current costs?
So doing a bit of
what are the recurring costs of the new school, right? So.
And tell me, aside from the school, like I have to remind myself that we work for a relocation company, right? Because building a school compared to the day job of what we do, what do you think it means to our clients and to our partners and and also to our friends and colleagues, right? That we work for a company that not only invests in our futures, but also through training and support and all of that wonderful stuff, and being a great place to work and so on and so forth. What do you think it means to our clients and as I say, in that partner network, that they're working with a company that has that sort of integrity to really look at the environment? That was the foundation. The purpose of the foundation was to support children in local communities that we operate in. What do you think it means to them? Do you hear from them? Like, do they talk about that?
That's what I wanted to say.
Firsthand,
We actually have big partners of ours in relocation that support the school. So we have our main moving company helped us a lot and still helps us. For example, we got a donation, we need to take things over, can you help us? Yes, they'll put everything in a truck and take it over.
Brilliant.
He put together the planters for us, right? So we have that partnership, but not only with him, we have other vendors that are also helping us that have been there with us, that went with us in December for the Christmas party. They saw the difference that they're making. We have individuals of our vendors also that want to help. So I'm not going to put names here, obviously, right?
There'd be too many.
They are always asking for updates.
Yeah.
How it's going.
Because they think it's impressive to have a company that is in Brazil for 4 years. We're going to be 4 years now next month, right?
That's right. Great.
So
I love that you got that in there. We've got some stuff planned for the
4 year celebration,
4 years, right? So you got that in there.
But
Brilliant.
then you have companies that have been in Brazil forever, right?
Yeah, sure.
And that have never taken a step this big. So it makes us even prouder to see that other vendors that have been here for a long time are investing in our project when we're still a baby in Brazil, right? Because we're only going to be 4. So it's amazing. It's impressive.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, look, K2's been going for just over 22 years, and even so whilst only 4 years in Brazil, it's still a massive thing for any company, I think, to as I say, to really think beyond the purpose of the business, which is to provide a service, whatever that business may be, to really think beyond that. And I think, there are some names that we could drop in. I mean, undoubtedly, Nick, our CEO, his sort of driving force of, I remember going to the school that first time and sort of standing on the roof terrace and Nick saying, we should just add an extra floor as well. And I was like,
everybody looked at him and said, are you crazy?
But do you know what? That level of are you crazy, in that tenacity, in that drive forward, coupled with the support of plenty of other people in K2, you guys, people in that work in the foundation, there's too many names, actually, way too many. You know who you are. But there's
one thing that I think I would like to mention, if you let me interrupt you, which is today we're actually receiving a prize from OAB, which is
this evening, right?
Yes, this evening.
Okay.
For recognition of what we are doing in the community.
Wow, that's brilliant.
So the Lawyers Bar, let's say, of São Paulo, puts together an event where they vote on different processes to see which is the company that did the most for the area and helped out the children and everything. And we're actually receiving that recognition today. So
that's lovely to get that. I mean, I know if Nick was sitting here now, he'd be like, that's, wonderful. We don't do it for the recognition. We do it for helping, those communities and stuff. But at the same time, absolutely, how wonderful that it clearly is evidence enough that it's a big deal. I think it's a really big deal. And I say, I'm set up in the UK. So to come here, to have the honor of coming here, speaking to you guys, going to visit the school, having seen it beforehand, it's a big deal. For my family and I, we raised money for the school and we bought these wonderful push bikes that you'll see in the film, hopefully. But yeah, it really is a big deal. And I think sometimes we can forget that. And it's that reminder, and it's wonderful that our partners and those that have sort of contributed towards raising funds for the school through various means, through our Nepal expedition, through all of the other charity initiatives that we've done, are craving that update. And I can't wait to provide that that
and
outdated.
the project is so intense that Anna and I sometimes we have to actually sit down and hold each other back because we get so involved that it's not only K2 professionally, it's us personally.
Yeah, it's your baby.
Yeah, getting involved with it.
That's
and
true.
sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It's so much work. It's this and that. And then we look at the children and we say, no, we need to do it. We need to get this done. So
Brilliant. Well, look, that wraps it up for me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to go and see the school. And as I say, then we'll get a wonderful film produced and shared. And I'm sure when we share this podcast, there'll be a link to that film as well. And I'm sure you guys will feature on it as well.
well, thank you
if
for
you
the
will.
opportunity
Thank you.
of letting us share what we think and everything
Brilliant.
we've done, right, Anna?
Exactly.
So-
I hope you really like the project tomorrow
Undoubtedly.
when we're going to be there. And cannot wait to share more updates with you and everybody.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.